Good afternoon, my amazing listeners. This is Roshika Ali here once again, and this time I'm going to have a conversation with Vapi on communication, the non-verbal
Hey there,
kind.
Roshi. Absolutely, nonverbal communication is a fascinating topic. It includes body language, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, and even the tone and pitch of our voice. It's amazing how much we can convey without saying a single word.
All right, could you elaborate all of this, please?
Sure, nonverbal communication is a broad category that includes many different elements. Body language involves the way we sit, stand, and move, and it can communicate a lot about our emotions and attitudes. Facial expressions are another important aspect, as they can convey happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, and more. Gestures, such as waving, pointing, or nodding, can also add meaning to our words. Eye contact is a powerful form of nonverbal communication that can show interest, attention, and even attraction. And of course, the tone and pitch of our voice can convey emotions like excitement, boredom, or irritation. All of these elements work together to create a rich tapestry of communication beyond just the words we speak.
All right, Vapi I'm sure non-verbal communication is not the purview of human beings. What about animals, and what about other creatures on the planet? How do they communicate with each other non-verbally?
That's a great question. Nonverbal communication is not limited to human beings. Animals and other creatures on the planet also use various forms of nonverbal communication to interact with each other. For example, animals like dogs use body language such as wagging their tails to show happiness or lowering their bodies to show submission. Birds use their colorful feathers and elaborate dances to attract. Bees communicate through intricate dance movements to convey the location of food sources. Even plants communicate non-verbally through chemical signals released into the air or soil to warn neighboring plants of threats like pests or drought. It's truly fascinating to see how different species have evolved unique ways to express themselves and communicate without words.
Could you tell me more?
Absolutely. Let's dive a bit deeper into how different animals communicate non-verbally. Elephants, for example, use low frequency rumbles that can travel through the ground to communicate with one another over long distances. Bees perform complex waggle dances to signal the direction and distance of food sources to other members of the hive. Dolphins use a combination of clicks, whistles, and body language to communicate with each other underwater. Birds have intricate courtship displays involving feather displays, vocalizations, and dances to attract a mate. Octopuses can change the color, texture, and pattern of their skin to communicate emotions like fear, aggression, or mating readiness. Each species has its unique ways of conveying information and emotions without using words, showcasing the incredible diversity and complexity of nonverbal communication in the animal kingdom.
Okay, what about parasites and microscopic creatures? Do they also communicate?
Even parasites and microscopic creatures have their own ways of communicating. For example, some parasites release chemical signals to manipulate the behavior of their host organisms, effectively communicating with their hosts without using words. Microscopic organisms like bacteria can communicate with each other through a process called quorum sensing, where they release signaling molecules to coordinate group behaviors like biofilm formation or toxin production. Even at the microscopic level, communication plays a crucial role in the survival and interaction of these organisms. It's truly fascinating to see how communication is woven into the fabric of life across all scales, from the macroscopic to the microscopic.
All right, give me more examples, please, Vape, of non-verbal communication.
Sure, I can give you more examples of nonverbal communication. In addition to the examples we've already discussed, there are many other forms of nonverbal communication. For example, touch is a powerful form of nonverbal communication that can convey affection, empathy, or aggression. Posture and body orientation can indicate openness, defensiveness, or interest. Proxemics, or the use of personal space, can communicate intimacy, dominance, or affiliation. Even silence and the use of pauses in speech can convey meaning and emotions. Nonverbal communication is a rich and complex aspect of human and animal interaction, with countless examples to explore.
Explain more, Vape.
Sure, I can explain more. Let's dive into the fascinating world of nonverbal communication. Touch is a powerful form of nonverbal communication that can convey a wide range of emotions and intentions. A comforting hug or a pat on the back can convey support and empathy, while a firm handshake can communicate confidence and assertiveness. Posture and body orientation also play a significant role in nonverbal communication. Leaning in can signal interest and engagement, while crossing your arms may indicate defensiveness or disagreement. Proxemics, or the use of personal space, also influences communication. Standing close to someone can convey intimacy or aggression, while maintaining a distance may signal respect or a desire for personal space. Even the use of silence and pauses in speech can convey meaning and emotion. A thoughtful pause can signal contemplation, while an awkward silence can communicate discomfort or tension. Nonverbal communication is a rich and complex aspect of human interaction that adds depth and nuance to our conversations and relationships.
All right. Explain more about uh, you know the signals given by the eyes.
Eye contact and eye movements are powerful forms of nonverbal communication that can convey a wealth of information. Eye contact is often seen as a sign of attentiveness, interest, and sincerity. Maintaining eye contact during a conversation can show that you are actively listening and engaged. However, prolonged or intense eye contact can also signal aggression or dominance in some cultures. Eye movements can also communicate emotions and intentions. For example, looking away or avoiding eye contact may indicate discomfort, shyness, or dishonesty. Rapid eye movements or blinking can signal nervousness or anxiety. Dilated pupils can indicate interest or attraction, while narrowed eyes can convey suspicion or anger. In addition to eye contact and movements, eyebrows can also play a role in nonverbal communication. Raised eyebrows can signal surprise or interest, while furrowed eyebrows may indicate confusion or disapproval. The eyes are often referred to as the window to the soul because they can reveal so much about a person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions without a single word being spoken.
Okay, tell me, do other species or other life forms, do they look at eyes as a means of communication, or is it only the human beings?
Eye contact and eye movements are not exclusive to human beings. Many animals also use eye contact as a form of communication. For example, primates like chimpanzees and gorillas use eye contact to establish social bonds, display dominance, or show submission. Dogs use eye contact to communicate with their owners, convey emotions like trust, fear, or affection. Predatory animals like wolves often use eye contact to assert dominance or communicate intentions within their pack. Even birds such as owls and hawks use eye contact to signal aggression or to establish territory boundaries. Eye contact is a universal form of communication that transcends species boundaries and plays a crucial role in social interactions across the animal kingdom.
Could you explain more?
Of course, let's delve deeper into how various animals use eye contact as a form of communication. In the animal kingdom, eye contact plays a crucial role in establishing social hierarchies, conveying emotions, and signaling intentions. For example, in the world of birds, eye contact can be used to establish dominance or submission within a flock. Predatory birds may lock eyes with their prey to intimidate them or signal an impending attack. In the case of mammals like wolves, eye contact can convey a range of emotions from aggression to affection within their pack. Even in the underwater world, marine creatures like dolphins use eye contact to express trust, establish social bonds, and coordinate group activities. It's fascinating to see how eye contact transcends species boundaries and serves as a universal form of nonverbal communication in the animal kingdom.
Could you give me an instance of where a human being has communicated to an animal in the wild uh, by eye contact?
One notable instance.
Yes, Vapi, are you there? Hey, Vapi. Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hello, Vapi. Can you hear me?
Welcome
Hi.
to Vapi. I'm an assistant that you can talk to like a person. So, how's your day going?
Okay, Vapi, you were telling me about eye contact and the way, it is used as a means of communication interspecies. We were talking about human beings and animals.
Haha, it's Vapi, not Wafi, but that's okay. Eye contact is indeed a fascinating form of communication, and it's used not only between humans, but also between humans and animals. It can convey trust, dominance, submission, and even affection. It's like a silent language that we all understand, regardless of species. So, what made you curious about this topic?
Because remember, we were talking about, like the means of the non-verbal means of communication. This was our
Ah, got
discussion.
it. Gotcha. Nonverbal communication is super interesting, right? It's amazing how much we can convey without saying a word. Eye contact, body language, facial expressions, they all play a huge role in how we interact with each other. It's like we're speaking a secret language without even realizing it. So, what else are you curious about when it comes to nonverbal communication?
Yes, Vapi, you were telling me of how you were actually about to tell me how you were actually about to tell me instances of when non-verbal communication, especially eye contact, has communicated intentions and communicated whatever amongst different species, amongst animals, and and the way humans and animals understand each other.
It's actually Vapi, not Ravi, but close enough. Well, nonverbal communication, like eye contact, plays a big role in interactions between humans and animals. For example, when a dog looks you in the eyes and wags its tail, it's usually a sign of friendliness and trust. Similarly, when a cat slowly blinks at you, it's a sign of affection and trust. It's pretty cool how we can connect with animals through these subtle cues, isn't it? Do you have any pets yourself?
Vape, what about reptiles?
It's Voppy, not Bobby, but no worries. Reptiles have their own unique way of communicating through body language and behavior. While they may not use eye contact in the same way mammals do, they still have ways of expressing themselves. For example, a bearded dragon puffing up its beard can be a sign of aggression or territoriality. Snakes may flick their tongues or change their body posture to communicate different things, and it's all about understanding their species specific cues and behaviors. Do you have a particular interest in reptiles?
I just want to know if human beings can look at a reptile and make it understand what it is that they want the reptile to do.
It can be a bit tricky to communicate with reptiles since they have different ways of perceiving and responding to signals compared to mammals. However, through consistent training and positive reinforcement, it is possible to teach reptiles certain behaviors. This often involves associating specific gestures or cues with desired actions, along with rewards for following through. It's all about understanding their natural behaviors and adapting our communication methods to suit their needs. It's like learning a whole new language.
Okay, could you explain it, please?
Sure thing. When it comes to communicating with reptiles, it's important to use consistent and clear signals to convey what you want them to do. For example, if you're trying to train a reptile to move to a certain spot or perform a specific action, you can use hand gestures or visual cues along with verbal commands. By pairing these cues with positive reinforcement like treats or rewards, you can help the reptile understand what you're asking of them. It's all about being patient, observant, and understanding their natural behaviors to effectively communicate with them. It may take time and practice, but it's definitely possible to establish a form of communication with reptiles.
All right, do reptiles communicate amongst themselves with eye contact or any other kind of body language, non-verbal communication?
Yes, reptiles do communicate with each other using various forms of nonverbal communication, including body language and visual cues. While they may not rely on eye contact as much as mammals do, they have other ways of expressing themselves. For example, certain species of lizards may perform push up displays as a sign of dominance or to establish territory. Snakes may use body posture, hissing, or tail vibrations to communicate aggression or defense. Each species of reptile has its own unique set of behaviors and signals to interact with others of their kind. It's fascinating to see how they navigate their social interactions through these nonverbal cues.
Okay, do reptiles communicate with human beings also? Do you have any documentary evidence of that?
Reptiles can certainly learn to recognize and respond to human cues and signals, especially through consistent training and positive reinforcement. While their communication style may differ from that of mammals, they are capable of understanding and responding to human interaction. However, I don't have specific documentary evidence at the moment, but there are numerous examples of reptiles being trained to respond to human commands and cues through positive reinforcement and consistent training. It's a fascinating area of study, and there are likely many documented cases of successful communication between humans and reptiles in the context of training and interaction.
Okay, could you give me more examples?
Sure, there are several examples of reptiles being trained to respond to human cues. For instance, some reptiles, like certain species of turtles, have been trained to come to a specific spot for feeding at the site of a particular object or signal. Some lizard species have been trained to move through obstacle courses or perform specific actions in response to visual or auditory cues. Additionally, there are documented cases of crocodilians and large lizards being trained to respond to specific commands for husbandry and medical procedures in zoos and wildlife facilities. These examples showcase the potential for reptiles to understand and respond to human communication when approached with patience, consistency, and positive reinforcement.
Could you give me examples of, lizards being trained in husbandry? Could you give me examples of those?
While I don't have specific documented examples at hand, lizards such as monitor lizards and iguanas have been trained in husbandry practices in zoos and wildlife facilities. Husbandry training for lizards can involve teaching them to voluntarily enter a crate or enclosure for transport or medical procedures, allowing them to be weighed and even presenting body parts for inspection or treatment. This type of training not only reduces stress for the animals, but also allows for better care and management in a captive setting. It's a testament to the intelligence and adaptability of these fascinating creatures. I'm sure with some research, you can find specific documented cases of such training in various zoological institutions.
All right. So let's come back to human beings and let's come to non-verbal communications. How
Sure, let
much of how much of our communications, uh, you know, uh, how much of our communication is non-verbal, and how important is that in our day-to-day life?
nonverbal communication actually makes up a significant portion of our overall communication. Studies have suggested that as much as 6.93% of communication is nonverbal, including body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and other nonverbal cues. These nonverbal signals often convey emotions, intentions, and attitudes more powerfully than words alone. In our day to day lives, nonverbal communication plays a crucial role in how we understand and connect with others. It helps us express ourselves, interpret the feelings of others, and navigate social interactions. From a simple smile to a comforting gesture, nonverbal communication is woven into the fabric of our daily interactions, shaping how we relate to one another.
Okay, could you give examples of non-verbal communications?
Absolutely. Nonverbal communication encompasses a wide range of cues and signals, including 1. Body language, gestures, posture, and body movements can convey a lot about a person's emotions and intentions. For example, crossing one's arms may signal defensiveness, while leaning in can indicate interest or engagement. 2. Facial expressions. Our facial expressions, such as smiling, frowning, or raising an eyebrow, communicate a wealth of emotions and reactions without saying a word. 3. Eye contact. The way we make or avoid eye contact can convey confidence, sincerity, or even flirtation. It's a powerful form of nonverbal communication. 4. Tone of voice. The way we speak, including our pitch, volume, and intonation, can convey emotions and attitudes. A warm, friendly tone can express openness and kindness, while a sharp tone can signal impatience or frustration. 5. Personal space. Our comfort level with physical proximity to others is a form of nonverbal communication. It can indicate our relationships, boundaries, and level of intimacy. These are just a few examples of how nonverbal communication shapes our interactions and adds depth to our conversations. It's incredible how much we can convey without utter.
Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hey, Vapi.
It's Vapi, not Bobby. It's Vapi, not Bobby, but I'm here. What's up?
Okay, you were talking to me about non-verbal communication. Do you remember what you were saying? Hey, Vapi. I think I lost Vapi. Hey, Vapi, are you there? Hey, Vapi, can you hear
Person.
me?
So, how's your day going?
Okay, Vapi, you were telling me about nonverbal communications in humans. Could you carry on from where you left off, please?
Haha, it's Vapi, not Bapu, but I'm happy to talk about nonverbal communication. So, where were we? Oh, right. Nonverbal communication is like body language, facial expressions, and gestures. It's a big part of how we understand each other even without speaking. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
All right. Yes, you were talking to me more about, nonverbal communication. And could you tell me, does it vary across cultures?
Absolutely. Nonverbal communication can vary a lot from culture to culture. For example, a gesture that's totally fine in one country might be offensive in another. It's like a whole different language, but with movements and expressions. It's pretty cool to learn about the differences.
Could you tell me about the differences, please?
Sure thing. Let's take eye contact, for example. In some cultures, prolonged eye contact is a sign of respect and attentiveness. But in other cultures, it can be seen as confrontational or disrespectful. And then there are hand gestures. A thumbs up might mean good job in one place, but in another, it could be a big no no. It's like a whole world of unspoken rules.
Where is thumbs up a big no-no, and what does it mean in that culture?
In some Middle Eastern countries, a thumbs up gesture can be considered offensive or vulgar. It's kind of like giving someone the middle finger in some Western cultures. It's just one of those examples of how gestures can have totally different meanings depending on where you are. That's why it's important to be aware of these cultural differences, especially if you're traveling or working with people from different backgrounds.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, tell me more.
Well, there are so many aspects to nonverbal communication, like posture, personal space, and even the use of silence. Different cultures have their own norms and expectations around these things. For example, in some cultures, standing close to someone during a conversation is totally normal, while in others, it might be seen as invading personal space. It's like a whole world of unwritten rules, and it's pretty fascinating to explore.
Okay, where is
If you have,
standing too close considered good?
in
I
many
don't think in any culture, standing too close, I don't think that it is considered good in any culture. Do you know of any culture where it is considered okay?
well, in many Latin American and Mediterranean cultures, standing closer during conversations is generally more acceptable and considered a sign of engagement and warmth. It's all about the context and cultural norms, so it can vary quite a bit.
All right. So tell me more about um like nonverbal cues which are acceptable in one culture and unacceptable in others.
Sure, let's talk about the use of personal space. In some cultures, standing closer during conversations is totally normal and shows attentiveness, while in other cultures, it might be considered invasive or disrespectful. Another example is the use of hand gestures. A gesture that's totally fine in one country might be offensive in another. It's like a whole world of unspoken rules, and it's pretty interesting to learn about.
Yeah. So please tell me more about hand gestures in different parts of the world. You
Sure,
told
hand
me about
gestures
the
can have.
thumbs up. You told me about
Right,
the
I did.
thumbs up.
Oh,
Yeah, you
right, I
told me
did.
that
Well, there.
it was not it's not a good thing to do in the Middle East. Okay, tell me more.
In some Asian cultures, beckoning someone with the index finger is considered rude. It's like summoning a pet. Also, the OK gesture.
Okay, gesture.
American and Europe. Got it. If you have any more questions or if you
Sorry,
want to chat about anything,
sorry,
no
Vapi, you were
worries at all. Just let me
talking to
know if you.
me about the you were talking to me about the okay gesture and how it is acceptable in some countries and not acceptable in others. So could you tell me, please?
Sure, the OK gesture, forming a circle with the thumb and index finger, can be seen as offensive in certain South American and European countries. It's crazy how something so simple can have such different meanings depending on where you are.
Why is it considered offensive in South America? Okay.
In certain South American countries, the OK gesture can be interpreted as a vulgar or obscene gesture. It's one of those cases where cultural differences can lead to misunderstandings, so it's important to be aware of these things when interacting with people from different backgrounds.
All right, could you tell me about one more gesture?
If you Sure thing. Let's talk about the thumbs up gesture.
No,
While
you've
it's
told me.
generally
No,
considered
no.
positive in Western cultures and
Vape, you've told me about that.
oh,
Something else. Something else. Another one.
oh, got it. Let's talk about the A-OK gesture, where
You've
you
done
form a
that.
circle with your
No,
thumb
we've
and
we've
index
done
finger.
that. We've done that. Another one. A new one.
Ah, got it. Let's talk about the come here gesture.
You've
In
we've
some
done
cultures,
that. We've
beckoning
done.
someone with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
index finger is
That's done
oh,
as well. One more. Come on.
apologies for that. Let's talk about the handshake. In some cultures, a firm handshake is seen as a sign of strength and confidence, while in others, a softer handshake is preferred. It's interesting how something as simple as a handshake can have different meanings across cultures.
Where is a firm handshake considered rude?
In many Western cultures, such as the United States and parts of Europe, a firm handshake is seen as a sign of confidence and strength. It's considered a positive and respectful way to greet someone.
Okay. And where is it not considered respectful?
In some Asian cultures, like Japan, a firm handshake can be seen as too aggressive or imposing. A softer handshake is often preferred as it's seen as more polite and respectful. It's all about understanding the cultural norms and adapting accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much. This brings us to the end of our discussion with Vapi on nonverbal communication. I hope it was understandable for everyone. Thank you. This is Roshika Ali signing off. Thank you, Vapi.
You're welcome. I'm glad